think too, if every time your buddies talk to you, how was your day? You're on your way to hockey, you're on your way to the golf. If every time you're like, oh man, it was tough. I just no one wants to be around that, right? And it's a good
No.
reminder for me to stay kind of positive and power of your words. Venting doesn't do anyone any good.
We're back with another episode of the Real Life Podcast with your host, Tyler and Paul.
Hey, buddy, but happy to be here.
Let's do another one.
This is the epitome of like the real life hot podcast. We are ripping this at pretty much 11 p.m. It's kind of I kind of like these late night pods, dude. Reminds
I
me of
don't
like
hate them.
talk radio or whatever.
It would be great if we planned it like this.
Yeah, I know, right?
Instead of scrambling and getting them done late, but that's just how life goes sometimes. Today's the day of like the storm of the century. It was chaos around our house here this evening. Just hail and tornadoes for real. And
Yeah.
the weather was wild and definitely put a wrinkle in some of the evening plans, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. I that coupled with I installed my first ever dishwasher tonight, and I know I pay people to do things,
No,
so
man,
I
I'm proud
can.
of you.
Yeah, but yes, but I thought I had paid for this service. So when they showed up, they just dropped it off, and I was like, "Are you guys installing it?" They're like, "No, no, we don't do that." And I was like, "Oh my God!" So, uh,
Ah,
so funny enough, it's not that hard, but it's just like time consuming, right? You got to get like the legs the right size. You got to get like all the hoses, and like some of the hoses were corroded and to the old one,
yeah,
So
yeah.
it was all right, but
I've installed a few dishwashers in my day. I know exactly what you're talking about there. They can be a
and
little challenging if you're new to the DIY scene.
yeah, and then like, oh my gosh, the instructions were not directly from the model that I got, right? So it was showing
Oh,
me where
that
to do
sucks.
things, and it's like I don't have those pieces. Oh
It's like
man,
building IKEA furniture with the wrong instructions.
100%, man. But no,
Was your
what's up?
wife there though when you did it? Did she watching you over the shoulder,
No, I would
telling
not
you?
allow that. No, no, she was gone, it was funny. I was on full dad duty, so my wife had an appointment, so I worked, and then the second I was done work, I grabbed the baby and tried to eat while the baby ate. That didn't really go well, and then we actually started playing, and then I had a couple of realtors call me, and it's like 6:30, and so we're playing, and then we had a lot of fun. But she was having so much fun that when I stopped playing with her, she got pretty mad. So then it took her a
Oh,
while
she
to
didn't want the fun to end.
no, and then
Classic.
the second I put her down, then it was all right, dishwasher time. So there we go.
Yeah, that's how you got to do it, man. You gotta have your fun, and then you gotta, as soon as they close their eyes, you gotta jam a bunch of other work in there. And
Yeah,
then my kids
yeah,
are still under the illusion that all that stuff just takes care of itself. Like they wake up in the morning and they walk out to the clean kitchen and the cereal's in the cupboard or whatever they're having for breakfast, and you know, they just think a little fairy comes and it's like
yeah.
resets the house because it definitely wasn't that way when they went to bed.
Well, it's kind of funny because now as an adult, and I've been an adult for I guess a long time already, but lately I think I mentioned this last time, my daughter's first birthday, so we're really doing everything we can to like get the yard ready, and like we're painting the front door, and we're staining the deck, and we're doing the retaining walls and planting stuff, and I'm running power, like literally probably
Sounds like my
three.
yard.
Yeah, it's probably like 2 summers of like work that I just never did because I was either working or golfing, right?
Yep,
And
that'll
so now I'm
happen.
getting caught up, but it's kind of funny like now when like my evenings, I haven't watched a movie, played video games, watched hockey, gone for wings. I've done nothing for like 2.5 weeks, and I've gone to Home Depot 3 times a week, and then like even like at 10, 11 o'clock at night, I'm like outside, and it's been fun. It's been actually a nice little change
I
of pace.
I love it. This is not a yard work podcast, but I'll tell you, man, it's therapy for me. I love just wandering like tonight before the storm. Like I had the best time walking around my yard, making sure all the eaves were right and making
Yeah.
sure all the stuff was picked up and the kids' toys were put away. And when my yard's all like nice and clean, it looks really nice and I
Mhm.
enjoy it. And just knowing that, like I look around and like, hey, I built that deck, built that fire pit area, built that fence, built that shed. built all that stuff, and it's just like a little pat on the back, and
Yeah.
especially when it ends up coming together and looks good. Like our yard is finally, I don't know, I'd say it's 98% finished. Like it's done. And yeah, it's satisfying, man. There's just nothing better than spending an evening out in the yard. But it's been so hot that like the evenings, once you get to like that 9 to 11 p.m., it
Oh,
has
it's
been
beautiful.
so nice outside.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to come in.
Well,
But
I actually love the heat too. And like it's been, I don't know, 33 degrees Celsius. What is that? 86 maybe. Like not super hot. Like if you're living in Phoenix or in like wherever else, but hot for here. And I love it. Like I'll sit on the deck with my laptop under the umbrella shade, and then I'll sometimes just get a little bit of heat on the shoulders just to get a little bronze, and then never ceases to feel like the second I start a meeting though, my neighbor has to cut the grass. It's like every
oh yeah.
single time. But most people actually told me they haven't even been able to hear, like with like I guess the noise canceling on some of these headphones. It's been pretty good. So
Nice. No, I've been trying to take every opportunity to work out on the deck as well, and that's actually going to be one of the episodes we have in here is the ability to kind of choose our own hours a little bit. So we're going to talk about that. But
yeah.
today, you ever like come home from work and just like unloaded all the work stuff on the wife?
Yeah, I used to be really bad for it, and I think I've done really well in the last couple of years because I realized like the unloading of off my shoulders, my back onto everyone around me really just puts a damper on their evenings too. So I really learned to I've tried to stop, but I'm not perfect. How about you?
Oh, dude. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of the same. Like my wife and we have like such a, I don't know, I don't, this is a bit of a brag, I guess, but like we have an awesome relationship and just like with communication, and we're very open about it, and we discuss a lot of things. And it was brought to my attention very early that you know, this coming home and just talking about all the crap from work
Yeah.
is like it makes me feel good because I'm just like, oh, got that off my chest. But then, she's here, trying to support me. And now it's like I'm just like it's like handing a physical weight from me over to her. Right now she's
Yeah.
over there and she's holding it. She's like, oh, he's stressed. He's got all this going on. And I feel like, I just kind of venting it out and just spewing it off, and now it's gone and done. But now she's holding it, right? Now she's feeling like, well, now she's got to do extra to support it. And I feel the same way when it comes back the other way, right? She comes home from work and she's venting and telling me about everything that's going on that she's able to tell me. And like it's all of a sudden like, oh, I need to support her. She had a hard day. She had a long day. Like I got to take over all this stuff. And I don't know. It's not meant in that way from my end of things. Um, but it's interesting what can happen when you start to do that on a regular basis.
Yeah. No, I think maybe even our last podcast, the Selling Houses podcast, where we talked a bit more about just our work. In that industry, I found that, and there's days like today I had a lot of kind of like time sensitive. Like it's tough. Like I love it. This time of the year is it's just heavy with questions and questions and questions and questions and questions and not a lot of there's a lot of people offering on the same house. So I might talk to 10 people in a day, and that night one or zero of them are actually successful. So then the next day 10 more, 10 more, 10 more. And like you're just like there's no like dopamine hit with the accepted offer, and you don't get paid until they get a house either, right? Just like Tyler. So anyway, I guess what I'm getting at is I just had a lot of stressful time sensitive ones, and I was talking to like a financial advisor, and he's like, man, your job is just like putting out fires all day. And I was like, yeah, like a lot of it is. And so I found that like the second it's hard to shut your brain off the second you slap the laptop closed. So, but what good comes of you going home and saying, oh, what a day, or just complaining about specific files? So I learned really quick to stop talking about specific files. Like, do you still, well, like when you go home, will you sometimes just be like, oh my goodness, this purchase is going whatever? Like, do you get into the weeds a little bit or no?
No, no, I don't. It's not really getting into the weeds. Like, I mean, it would have to be pretty dramatic for it to be like. specific that way. For
Yeah.
me, it's more so just like general stuff. It's like for me, most of my frustration in venting comes from other realtors, to be totally honest.
Oh yeah.
Like, we'll go to a house and like the listing doesn't match. Like this happened today. We went and saw this property that was kind of rural, dirt road. It was an estate sale, so obviously we knew there was no, it wasn't a ton of background info. These things are just kind of sold as is, but
Yeah.
the photos were just so misleading. Like we got out there and this place was a complete teardown, but the marketing, and I don't know, I guess to their credit, like
Ooh, I think
it
I know
didn't
which one this
look like a
is.
teardown.
I think I know which one this is.
Well, there's a
Um,
few out here right now,
yeah, okay.
but
But yeah, we talked about this a couple years ago. I was just like, it drives me absolutely crazy when realtors will like use all the AI and use all these editors and make it like look like it's all lit up and the sky's lit up and then make the fish angle or underwater view or whatever to make that room look 10,000 times bigger. Drives
the
me
fisheye
freaking
lens, yeah.
yeah, bro. It drives me crazy, dude. So I can totally get
Yeah,
it.
and this was just, yeah, and it wasn't even that they faked it. It was just like the photos were done very clever. Like they got just the right angle to make a room look good. And then when we got there today, it was like, oh, there's a big hole in that wall. But you could see it because of the angle they use. It's not that they hid it, they just didn't
Right.
take a picture of it. And it was just like this whole thing. It was like, oh man. So we got out there, it was a total bust. And like I come home and like that's not the client's fault, right? I'm not gonna come home and complain about the clients. It was like coming home and it was like, man, I just drove 35 minutes out to this listing
Yeah.
that we were in for a total of 4 minutes before the clients were like, yeah, this is
Not
a
interested.
hard no. And it was like, and they were bummed out too, right? Now they were like, oh, like we were really excited about this place, and now, we're not because it's
Yeah. But
dump.
like even I was listening to other podcasts and the guy's like talking about how like he goes and he starts talking about his golf scores like no one else cares. Like maybe I care because you and I are in the same industry. Like when you're telling this story, probably a lot of people don't care, but like I do because like I know what you're talking about and I see it all the time, right?
Oh
So
yeah, for
even
sure.
so,
And
but like
and and I'm not sharing that story because I want
no,
people to care.
no,
It's more so about what I'm venting about.
sure, and that's what I'm getting at is like even if you vent about that scenario to your wife, she's probably gonna be like, "Don't care, like that was a
Mm.
waste of time." Like that's all I mean.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And like just like this one guy's like, he's like, I hate when people talk about their golf scores at the office. Um,
Dudex
and
walked in. He's like, shot an 86 yesterday.
exactly, 76. So anyway, but no, but you're right. Like so all the things that same thing for me. Oh my gosh, like someone I told him to buy it to fill out an app 6 months ago, so we're prepared and so we can get your paperwork prepared. Well, they didn't listen and they bought a home today and now they get it done today and now I have to cancel dinner. And so like again, no one else cares about that but me. And I mean, I guess if I'm canceling dinner on Courtney, that's like that. She wouldn't like that. But what I'm getting at is there's nothing positive for me coming home mentioning all the crap that I had to do today.
Yeah.
Unless I need help, unless I need some advice, unless,
So do you
uh,
do you think that you should never vent to your spouse then? Like you should just
no,
like
no,
bottle up everything from work and just keep it
no.
deep down inside.
No, I think that you need to do it like constructively, right? Like I think what you need to do is come at it with like you need an end game out of bringing it up. So I think anything specific's a waste of everyone's time. Like if I come home and I'm like, oh my goodness, this bank's portal is broken and I had to manually email every single document to the underwriter. Like she doesn't care about that specific, but what I
Yeah.
could do is be like, hey, I'm feeling really overwhelmed. I can't really seem to keep up with my emails and my phone calls and people's expectations, and I'm having hard time sleeping, and it hurts to breathe. Like
Ah,
can you like what do I do? Like that
yeah.
that I've done. Like
See,
that
and
I've done.
that's funny because not that's not funny, but it's interesting you said that because that kind of reminds me of something I do with my kids. So, like my daughter will come running into the room and just my foot hurts. My
Mhm.
foot hurts. Okay. And I'm always like, well, what happened? And she was like, well, my toe hurts. And I'm like, okay, but like I go to the same like, what's the root cause? Like what happened? Like, well, let's go right back to the to the furthest point in the series of events that took place to tell me how your toe got hurt.
Hmm.
Oh, I stubbed it on the door. Oh, okay, so you stubbed your toe, right?
Yeah.
Like I understand that your toe hurts. So it's like the same situation there is like
Yeah. Finding
you've
out the root.
yeah, the root is that you're overwhelmed. It's not that this bank's portal is messed up. So like
Right.
you say, coming home and complaining about that does nothing for anybody.
Hmm.
But, sharing that you're overwhelmed and can't keep up, like that's the
Yeah.
root cause. That's where the real issue is. And I think that hits the nail right on the head. If you are going to bring work home a little bit, I think it's impossible not to.
You
Like
have to,
to
but
say
yeah.
to like, I'm never gonna vent to my spouse. They're never gonna like we always have this joke, like if you tell me something, there's like a 95% chance my wife's gonna, you might as well just tell my wife too, because there's a good chance she's gonna know about it, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's I think how most married couples are. Don't worry, bro code has its place, but
Right.
like,
Right.
there is a good
Ooh.
chance that yeah, you tell me something, my wife's gonna know about it.
Yeah. Here's this is okay, this is a little bit of a side quest here. So just based on what you just said right there, the whole what's your take? Is my audio still okay, Ty?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your take on yeah, not client confidentiality, but there's times when like, so let's just say you're working on a file for friends or people that she knows, and
Hmm.
like I run my business now because early on I made one mistake about maybe telling who I was working with or something, and then they brought it up and it shouldn't have happened. So I now keep a really fine line where I don't really tell her anyone that I'm working with, and to the point where she's kind of like, hey, like what, like everyone else's husband tells them about their job or their work or their
Yeah.
whatever. But I don't. I like I legit until the people in front of her say, "Oh yeah, Paul. By the way, we're offering tomorrow." She'll look at me and then now it's fair game that she knows I'm working.
Yeah, they've brought it up.
Right. Well, how about
Yeah.
you? Like, I mean, yours is a bit different, right?
No, no, actually I keep it pretty much the same. Like confidentiality is confidentiality. Like if you've hired me to do a job, um, no one needs to know except me, right? And like it's kind of the same sort of rule. Like I helped some friends buy and sell
Yeah.
last year, and like, I had mentioned, oh hey, so and so was asking me to do a valuation on their place. And that was basically all I said. Didn't share like what their budget was, where they were looking, any of that stuff until they had shared that stuff with my wife on their own. And then it was like,
Right.
okay, now we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
But and she's the same way, like, right? She works in education and that's super confidential as well. And like the student, I don't know who she works with. I don't know what students she spends time with or whatever.
Yeah.
Like the things that she shares when she comes home are just generic things like, oh, the kids at the playground today were just wild. They were playing this crazy game or
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
student specific.
No.
Um,
Okay.
so yeah, we try to keep it exactly the same for the same reasons, right?
Well, exactly. And Courtney didn't, my wife didn't mean it in like a way where she's wanting to know more. And she's more like in general, most other people's jobs, they'll talk about certain things, right? Like it's different,
Becky at the
right?
office is doing this again, and you get
Yeah.
specific, right?
So no, because I just talked about this literally with my buddy tonight. It's this exact scenario where I basically just said, look, like just so you know, nothing we talk about is gonna leave like the confidence of this room, right? You and I. And so I know too where, in the past, especially when I work with friends and family, it weighs on me even a little bit more because you really want them to know that you're good at your job and they're not using you just because they feel like they have to. So you really want to kind of shoot one out of the park, but or hit one out of the park. But no, I think what I was getting at too is I really tried to disconnect in general, work from home, and lately, ever since we had our baby though, and we moved maybe 30 minutes, 25 minutes from my office, I work pretty much 93% remote from home here. So, I work in the basement. When I come upstairs, we talk about the baby, we talk about the bomber, the football, whatever. But I just think too that like anything specific, there's no real end game other than if I'm struggling with something. So my wife's been really good with like giving me exercises to do, like, breathing or, praying or, depending on what you do, meditating, right? Like,
Hmm.
depending on what's important to you, she's been really helpful with grounding me and helping reframe how I'm thinking. So days when I am really struggling, I won't complain about specifics, but I'll just be like, I'm overwhelmed with this. I don't know what to do. And then that's where we'll go with it. But I definitely used to like dump my emotions on anyone the first couple of years when I was still learning this though, for sure.
Yeah. See, and like my day is a little bit different. So I'll have the same sort of situations where you get stuff's going on, you're overwhelmed, whatever. And my wife's not here. She's she's been at work full time now this year, so I'll go upstairs because I'm the same way. Like I work primarily from a home office. And I now have to take little breaks, like when stuff gets crazy like that, or if like for me, it's like if I get 10 emails in the span of 5 minutes, all asking for big stuff, bunch of new paperwork, get back to me urgently. We need to have this long, detailed phone call. I need your response on this. Where's the, upset, whatever it might be. I just need to step away from my desk. I'll take 5 minutes, and this is where having a beautiful backyard really helps. Just go walk in the grass. I'm 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 a believer in grounding, like
Yeah.
actual physical grounding.
I've heard about that a
Um,
lot lately.
yeah, man, we have grounding sheets and all that stuff, and
Wait, what?
uh, yeah, I
What
sleep
do
on
you do?
grounding sheets. They're plugged into the wall. I never thought I'd plug my bed sheet into the wall, but they are plugged into the wall.
But
They're
there's
plugged
got
into the
like a
grounding port on the wall, and it actually it just neutralizes the current running through your body when you go to sleep.
mm.
And just with we're oh God, this is gonna sound so
No,
hippie.
no, I'm interested, man.
No, well, yeah, and like I don't fully subscribe to all of this stuff, but and I'm no expert at it by any stretch. So this is not me trying to sound like someone who knows this stuff inside and out, but just with everything that's going on around us in terms of like what we can't see, like Wi-Fi, there's cellular signals, there's wireless charging, there's electromagnetic activity from literally every electronic device. And if you look around you right now, there's probably 20 different devices. You think about the outlets in your house, the appliances, like our fridge and stove connect to Wi-Fi now. Like
Mm.
everything is connected wirelessly. We have all these like energy and currents running through our bodies all the time. And then our bodies have their own electromagnetic field. And this stuff, it adds to it and takes away from it and it alters it. And when you ground yourself, and grounding yourself just means stepping on the dirt, like just barefoot though. We all
Right,
wear
right,
shoes everywhere,
right.
which are rubber. So you don't actually get properly grounded when you're wearing shoes. So there's this whole thing about just walking on the earth and it makes you feel better. It helps you calm down. And then these sheets too, when you sleep on them, they reduce inflammation and all this stuff. It's a whole thing.
Okay.
But anyways,
No.
we have them. I'm a big believer in it, and I can say that like when I do get overwhelmed, I will go walk in the yard
Okay.
and I will leave the shoes at the door. I'll just walk around my yard. My neighbors probably went, "What the heck is this guy doing? Does he ever go to work?" 'Cause I'm just looks like I'm constantly walking around my yard all the time.
Yeah.
But I feel better within 5 minutes, and then I just go back in, and then I'm like, okay, we're good. Hammer it out. But I mean, to stay on topic here a little bit, because I know we're running close to the end of our show, but I think we've kind of hit it right on the head. Like I think you're gonna bring your work home with you. You're gonna tell your spouse about it a little bit, but you should really try to keep it constructive and like root cause, right? Because I think there's things that they know you the best. My wife knows me better than anybody else, and if I am struggling with something or if something's, bad enough that I need to come home and talk about it, then she's probably the best person to give me advice, and I would assume Courtney's the same for you, like
Yep.
to give
Yep.
you advice on how to handle that,
Well, yeah, and they
right? They
care.
know they know you in and out.
Yeah, they care about you. They want to help you, and so sometimes too, it's a good perspective. Someone that's not maybe in your same line of work, that loves you and cares about you is going to be the person that's going to help you prioritize things, and also just realize that hey, you know what, like this is a job. Like at any point in time, just remember this is a job. This is not again in our roles like no one's dying because you didn't email them back instantly.
Hmm.
And so what if someone's mad and they write a Google review? Like at the end of the day, you're alive. And if you don't have your family, and if the second you come in the door, you're negative, whatever, you're negative, no one's gonna want to be around you. And what's it all for? It's probably my new tagline is like, what's it all for? Like, what's it all for? If you're
Yep.
always negative and you're always grouchy, and we've talked about this, like, and I'm sure a lot of people, and as they advance in their career, the more responsibility you take on, the more money you make as well. The more challenges and the more stuff comes home with you, right? So at what point is too much responsibility, too much money? At what point does that really take away your joy? And we've talked a bit about finding your why, finding your purpose, and my purpose is definitely, yeah, like my family and my faith and my health. And so, obviously I'm really passionate about my career, but those other things are more important to me, right? So, yeah, and I think too, you do everyone else a disservice, and I think especially at work during the day, you know no one wants you to like when they call you and they want your help. And if you're like, and they're like, how's it going? You're like, oh, stressed. Like that's the
Yeah.
last thing someone wants to hear when they're choosing you. Hey.
100%. Yeah, bang on. And I think too, if you're coming home, like if you like audit yourself, if you are somebody who is talking about work a lot, and I mean I get it if you got if we got other brokers and realtors and business owners listening to this, hey, shout out to that guy on YouTube who left us a comment. That was pretty awesome. I like that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
People are listening. Um, but if you are coming home with all this stuff and you're venting a lot and you're telling, I get it. Like it's heavy to run your own show, and sometimes you feel like you have no one else to talk to about this stuff. And it might be coming from a negative place, but sometimes you feel like you just got to get it off your shoulders. Um, you know, I get that. Do that, I guess, if you have to, but start to kind of audit yourself and take note of what you're talking about. And if you can pick out some trends, maybe you're discussing the same things over and over and over again. This is a really good opportunity to maybe look at maybe some issues in your business, maybe some things that are reoccurring because of ways you're going about things. Maybe you're stressed because I don't want to sound like Paul here, but because maybe you've taken on too much. Maybe these problems can lead to solutions to help you grow your business, to help you improve your day-to-day functionality, right? Maybe you need an assistant because you can't handle it all. Maybe you need to outsource some of this stuff. Maybe you need to, hire somebody to I don't know, help you with some of the work.
Yeah,
Point is just take a look at what are you complaining about? Is it fixable?
that's really good too, because I think if you look at your pain points and you start to like, I guess realize, even today though, I was so overwhelmed, busy, that I've rarely done this in my career, but I legit called another broker. I said, "Hey, this random person left me a voicemail today, wants help. You know, I know this person's starting out, and so they're not as busy as me." And I said, do you want to take this client on? Just take it." And like, yeah, you got more time than I do, and so I never in the past would have like given away a lead, quote unquote there.
Yeah.
But it's like I'd rather the person have someone pay attention to him and give him the service he needs. And I knew that I wasn't going to get around to it. And I also felt too overwhelmed. So yeah, I think you learn your boundaries. You learn when is enough. You learn when to draw the line in the sand. But I think even with friends too, like especially in any sort of business that you're operating in or any role that you're operating in, people hear what you say, and if you're complaining about something, they're gonna internalize and be like, does Tyler or does Paul complain about me when he's working on my stuff, right? So
Yeah.
it's not a good look all around. And even my one of my leaders at one point said like, never let on, especially to anyone, even for me, if a realtor calls me, like I said earlier, and says, hey, can you jump in and help these people right away? If I dump on them exactly that I'm overwhelmed, that I'm stressed, well, we all know that everyone feels that in their job, right? And the
Yeah,
second
exactly.
second you do that, you've lost your appeal. So my response now is, how are you? It's like, yeah, I'm doing great. Like, having a great day, and
And I
and
can
then
totally help.
and I can totally help. And you know what? like we talked about 2 episodes ago, just like the power of like positivity. You know, you approach it that way, your body's gonna like you react that way as well.
Yeah, and I think too, if you're somebody who's always venting, if you're venting to your friends, and this goes beyond your spouse, it kind of makes you look like a weak person, right? Like you can't
Mhm.
handle it, right? And I don't, that's not the perception I want my friends to have of me or my even my spouse. I don't want my spouse to think like, wow, he's really like having a hard time.
Yeah, yeah,
You
no,
know,
no.
I'm the provider. I'm the guy who's supposed to have his crap together and am supposed to be steering the ship, right? I'm not the guy who comes home and complains because I can't handle it. And I think if, and that's why it's like okay to vent if, like you say, you know, you're dealing with you're overwhelmed, it's constructive, you're trying to solve a solution. But if you're just coming home to complain because today was another hard day, today was another hard day, and you just repeat that over and over again,
Do
oh man, I would end up
Excuse
telling
me.
my spouse, I'd be like, maybe you should look for a different job.
Do you think that? So I know that we're both business owners, small business owners, like 1, 2 employees, right?
Yeah.
Um, do I always feel, and it's funny because I have a lot of buddies that will talk to me or they'll call me or they're always calm, they're always chill, and they're just like, they went out for lunch or they're taking the day off to go to the beach or evenings they're with their kids and never seem to be phased. Um, and then I always feel like in the back of my brain, I'm always like scrambling and I'm always like, oh, must not the whole must be nice, but I'm like, sometimes it is must be nice to just punch out and not feel overwhelmed. But I mean, I guess what I'm getting at is I think the other thing, if you were listening to this and you work for someone else, I think what I used to deal with in that side of it was never really knowing how I stacked up to my like leaders'
I was
expectations.
just gonna say that. I think there's a version of that for each person, right? And I'm learning this is something I'm really struggling with this year,
Hmm.
and just like it's in my own little internal battle. And I think that each person has their own version of that worry. And yours and I feel the same way, right? I'm sitting here, I feel like everyone's looking at me like, oh yeah, looks so great. You're doing good job. Looks like you found your passion, your calling, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I love what I do. It's awesome. But yeah, I'm like that duck on the water, just chilling, floating, but under the water, my feet are going like a billion miles an hour, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm scrambling every day, bounce from here to here to here. And I remember my corporate job back then, it was, yeah, how do I stack up against others? Like, am I going to be considered for that promotion? Am I doing a good enough job? Are they just telling me that I am? Are they just
Right.
dangling that carrot? Like, how many rings on this ladder do I have to jump on before I get a promotion? Like I think there's everyone's got that. I guess it's insecurities about ourselves. Man, this pod's getting me to going deep in my own brain, man. I'm
I
telling you.
know. It's funny because I know people probably think like, oh, Paul and Tyler talk like this all the time. It's like, no, like this, I don't think I've ever really talked like this other than with my wife, but not even this in depth about this type of stuff. But I think you're right because I think there's that inner feeling of am I doing good enough? And if someone's not, if no one's breathing down your neck, are you going to be the person that works hard or are you going to do the bare minimum? And like our commenter there on YouTube, he mentioned it's often a struggle to force yourself to work when no one's, breathing down your neck. That's the other struggle,
Yep.
right? So I mean, there's everyone, I guess, has different things that they go through at work, but I think the biggest thing is wondering if you're working for someone else, like what if there's layoffs? Am I the youngest or the newest employee? Am I the first to go? Like Tyler mentioned, you know, are they going to notice my hard work? Am I going to get the promotion? And so I think even though maybe like a salary job with 6 weeks vacation, shut the phone off at 5, I think there's some benefits to that maybe sometimes I'm jealous of, because I just often feel like a little bit overwhelmed and like tired, and
100%.
I love it. I love the fact that I can work remote for a month at a time, forever, really. But then
Yeah.
I can't just shut off. And like lately, it's just like you mentioned, every email I send, I click send. There's two more, in
Yeah.
in. So I don't know.
And I think that's like I did, and I'm going through this, like I said, a lot this year, and I went through an exercise this morning, and I think that's where you have to really understand, like I call it like finding your heading. Like I feel like for the last maybe year or two, I've just been a ship sailing around with no destination. I'm good at sailing. I just don't know where I'm going,
Yeah.
right? Like and I think this morning I went through an exercise where I really like found my heading. Like where am I going, right? Along the way we're going to do some sailing and we're going to be good at it, but there has to be a destination on the map. And I think once you've got that locked in, and for me, and like to translate that to business, that means like what do you want? What do you want from your business? Where, like, how big do you want it to get? Do you want to be building an empire? Do you want to be kind of just a solo kind of enterprise? Like, what do you want to be? And once you've got that figured out and you're comfortable with that and you know it can provide what you needed to provide, then you're set and you can go ahead and you can just do your job. And I feel like I'll be less scrambly. I'll have
Mm,
less of that panic because like some days I want a team and I want a big business and I want to, be the number one agent in our area. And then other days
mm.
I'm like, I just want to sell like 15 houses a year to pay my bills and just disappear.
Yeah, read a book and no,
Yeah, right.
no,
So,
yeah. I think I think like the moral of our story is that like I think and again, I haven't done this but recently in years, but writing down my why, like why am I doing this? What are my goals? What's important to me? And then even having them on my desk, like we've talked about, looking at it. And then again, I think it's the power of lists or tasks or Evernote, whatever thing you use. I have a tablet, like a paper writing tablet, like
yep.
whatever. And every morning I write the date and then I write the live files that came in, the pre-approvals that I'm working on, and and I still have all my CRM reminders, but I like to see it in person and then I cross them off, cross them off, cross them off, cross them off, cross them off.
Yeah.
And I think that's super important is just like keeping track and visually doing that type of thing, right?
Yeah. And I think it helps keep you sane and it stops you from venting everything to your wife all the time
Or buddies, or
or your
buddies.
buddies.
Think too, if every time your buddies talk to you, how was your day? You're on your way to hockey, you're on your way to the golf. If every time you're like, oh man, it was tough. No one wants to be around that, right? And it's a good
No.
reminder for me to stay kind of positive and power of your words. Venting doesn't do anyone any good other than I think if you need help, reach out. And I think too more and more we're seeing a lot of mental health stuff these days.
Hmm.
Guys can go through it. I've dealt with it most of my life. I saw a therapist. I was on medication. I struggled with alcohol, other stuff, right? So just know it's out there and there's nothing wrong with chatting about it. I'm putting it out there. I don't care. If I can help you, I'll help you, right? But just know that you can bring it up with people, but bring it up in a positive way and be like, you know what, I'm struggling. Can you help me? That type
Yeah,
of thing.
time and place is everything for that stuff with your buddies. I think all your buddies are your buddies. They're gonna want to hear if you're struggling with stuff. Like you say, you just want to be the guy who's complaining. And
Yeah,
I
no.
think talking about that stuff is really good because in a world of AI and everything being so fake, you can't scroll through a feed these days without it being full of fake crap. It's cool to be authentic, It's cool to be real, and that's why I like this show. That's why we called it the Real Life Podcast. Our whole goal with this was to be real and kind of put it out there, and we are. And so far, man, I'm proud of this show. We're doing good stuff, and I love the episodes. And this was another good one, man. We had a great show this week, and it was a little late, but we got it done.
Yeah, no, thanks for the comments. Thanks for the texts. Thanks to everyone that listens. Gladly put it in the show notes, put it on YouTube, wherever you listen. Let us know what you want to talk about. Fire us a text. And yeah, you know what? Thanks for taking the time to listen to us. I know we're just a couple guys just talking about whatever's on our hearts and minds that day, but it means a lot when we hear from you. So appreciate everyone. And yeah, looking forward to next week.
There we go. Another one done. See y'all folks next Wednesday.
All right, guys, take care.